Hey everyone, this is my last video of 2019, and as we head into 2020, I wanted to pass on a little negotiation tip for you that could help save you a lot of money going forwards. And this has to deal with when you have the best offer option enabled for your listings, because there's a lot of people who feel like they always have to let the buyer win in all of these negotiations. And while it's okay sometimes, in fact, even most times, to let buyers feel like they're winning in getting a deal from you when you have best offer on, it's important to remember that best offer is an option. It's not always an automatic. At least you don't have to treat it that way. Only use it for yourself when it's making sense in a certain situation. And I'm going to show you an example of how the best offer being enabled did not really make sense for me to make a deal with a particular buyer, and how it all worked out in the end. And hopefully you'll remember this, and this could inspire you going forwards in your 2020 negotiation. So it has to do with this set of Funko Pop items that you could see right here. You'll see up top that it says League of Legends. Now, as it turns out, neither of these two Funko Pops really have much value at all. In my eBay store, I don't sell anything that is less than $9.99. And if I tried to set either one of these at a $9.99 fixed price with no best offer enabled, it would be very, very difficult to move these because the market is oversaturated on these particular Funkos. Now, also keep in mind that these are actually the last two Funkos of a giant collection that I had purchased, and I did very well. There were some high value exclusive pops in the collection that I purchased. So these are just two I'm just trying to get rid of. And what I did, and this is just a little side tip for you also going into 2020, is when you have these lower value items, I've talked about this before, but for those who are new, I will combine things together and make small little lots. So while someone won't pay more than $10 likely for this one or for this one, they will do that if I combine them together. But I also have to consider, and you also have to consider, what your shipping costs are going to be. So for your average Funko, if we're just dealing with this one right here, it's gonna cost somewhere between $4 and $5.50 to ship it. So if you're adding something else to it, depending on the weight of this Funko, this one might put it towards this is a smaller one here. It's one of these little mini ones, mystery mini, so you don't know what's going to necessarily be inside of it. That could push the first class right up to 16 ounces. And if you're printing out your shipping labels online, if you're new and you didn't know this, you could print first class shipping labels online up to and under 16 ounces. But once you go over the 16 ounces, then you are going to pay priority mail. And one of the things you have to remember is that now with first class shipping, and it's been this way for a long time with priority mail, obviously, is that as long as it's not flat rate priority, that you are going to have to pay partly based on the geographical distance where your item is going to go to. So for me, being in New York, it's going to cost more to ship things out to the West Coast compared to if it's staying here on the East Coast. So that's a factor you need to consider. When an offer comes in, it is going to show you the geographical location. It's going to show you the state, if we're within the United States, of where it is going. So on this, my goal was to try to make as close to $10 on this as I can. You also have to factor in your time, right? How much time are you putting into packing things up, and is it worth it if you're just going to make a couple bucks on it? So for these lower end items, there's less maneuverability in terms of best offers. For items that cost a lot more money, where you have more wiggle room because you sourced it for lower, you have much more room to play around with. But if you're primarily selling, items that are $10 to $20 or even less than $10, you have less room to be able to negotiate. And buyers are not going to always factor that in. It's something that's especially important to keep in mind if you have a free shipping model, which I do. So I'm working the estimated shipping costs into the price while I am making deals. And I know, again, on the Funkos that, like I said, they're going to cost between $4 to $5. And again, if this goes over the 16 ounces, it's going to cost even more than that to ship out. It could cost $8, $9 depending on where it's going. So an offer comes in on December 30th, and I'm putting the username up here because I need to show you that this is the same person throughout. If I block it out, you can't do that. So right here, it's also public information anyway. But here you could see here an offer comes in for $10. And when I factor in that this is going to be over $5 shipping, and at the time that this offer came in, I couldn't quite remember if this tipped over the 16 ounces, which would then make this maybe like $8 to ship out or more than that. It just doesn't make any sense for my time to accept this offer from this person because, and it doesn't show it here, but it shows it on my app, this person is located in California. So makes no sense, and I declined the offer, and I said that I can't do that with free shipping. And so the person then responded with another offer of $11. And, thanks for sending another offer, but that's not going to quite cut it either. This is really going to be a deal that's going to make sense for me for someone who's on the West Coast at this point. Remember, I've lowered the price a little bit since I first put this up because this is not like a great selling item, but I could make this deal with someone on the West Coast if they're willing to pay pretty much full price or very, very close to it. Or I can have a little bit of room of negotiation if it's someone here on the East Coast. So I do take geographical location into consideration because it directly impacts price when you're doing these deals. Now, I know some people are going to say, well, you should always counter on every single offer that comes your way, and I don't do that, not on every single offer, because again, it's not always going to make sense. Even if I were to counter offer at half, which would be $12, it still really doesn't make sense to me. And it only sounds like a couple bucks, I know, but when you factor that you're dealing with 1,000 or more transactions a year for your business, those dollars add up over time. So it's real important. And again, it also factors in with your time, and time is money. So some people might be nervous if I decline it, right? This person might not come back. Well, this shows that this person at least did come back once. You might feel like the person might walk away. And in my instance, I don't really care if the person walks away. If the person walks away, I feel confident enough in my item that someone is going to come along and still come and purchase that item because I know I researched the comps on it. I know I put a good deal out there, and someone should eventually come and pick this up or make an offer who might be from the East Coast or a closer geographical region. And what eventually wound up happening is that you could see here this is yesterday, December 30th, the person same person, same username as you can see, just bought the item at $13.99. So what if, now let's just go back, what if I just used the logic and said, well, you know what, I put best offer up, so I must accept the best offer, and I want the buyer to feel like that they won, so I'm just going to accept the $10. Well, I just lost $4 if I do it that way. Now, again, some people are going to say, well, you take the risk that if you decline the person that you lost the sale. Well, yeah, maybe I lost the sale with this person, but it doesn't mean that I lost the sale in an absolute sense that I can't sell it to somebody else. So keep that in mind as well. And again, even if I would have said, well, you know what, I'll do it halfway, I'll do it $12. Well, there's a couple bucks that you wind up losing out on this item. So again, don't get me wrong on this. I make plenty of deals with people where I take $5 off, I take $10 off. In the majority of the situations, when someone sends me a best offer, I am able to work out some kind of negotiation and some kind of deal. So I'm not telling you not to do those things. I'm just saying, particularly on the lower end items, make sure that that deal makes sense to you. Now, what I'm saying you could also apply to higher end items, things that cost more, where someone's making you some ridiculous lowball offer. And, again, even in those situations, you do not have to feel like you always have to make a deal to make the buyer happy. There's a lot of buyers who are just going to try to take advantage of that best offer situation because of the very fact that you have it enabled, and they're going to send some pretty silly offers your way sometimes. I'm not saying this person necessarily sent over a silly offer, but that person probably doesn't realize that it costs $5.53 to ship this out to them to California just keeping it under first class, which this one did. This one wound up being 15 ounces. But if it was more than that, again, this would have went well over that $5.53 mark. So all these things need to be factored in, again, especially if you're offering a free shipping model and they're at the lower end of the price scale. If you want more information on negotiations and how to deal with low ballers, I give you a lot of information here. I have 25 videos on my channel, and I do this, and I mention this in some of the videos, from the perspective of a psychologist. If you're new to my channel, I work full-time as a neuropsychologist, and I try to take information from the profession of psychology, and implement it within my business, and to share that with you, and hopefully that could help you in growing your business. So we are very, very close here to getting to that 10,000 subscriber mark. We may pull that off. It is 10:36 in the morning as I'm filming this. So if you haven't subscribed, please help me get to that 10,000 mark. I'd really, really appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button. I've mentioned the Facebook Reselling Resource Center many times, so make sure that you come over there. The link is down below in the description section, as well as the link to my Instagram account. That's @prime_time_treasure. I'll see you back at the next video, everyone, in the new year. Have a happy, healthy 2020 and a very successful reselling year. Take care, everyone.